I think it's very important to remember that this has been the Biden-Harris agenda. Kamala Harris has been an integral architect and executor of the policies of the Biden-Harris administration. But this notion that she somehow doesn't deserve credit for and isn't part of and wasn't an integral architect of the Biden-Harris administration agenda is not only false, it's frankly somewhat bizarre and offensive.
I'm 20 years old. Why is a one-bedroom apartment $600, $1,600? Like, oh my God, for 500 square foot.
One at a time, I said. Yeah.
Rent prices is outrageous. And then these jobs, they're bare minimum jobs. Like, I'm supposed to be in customer service. Before I was a server, I was working at like fast food restaurants, and nothing against them, love it, but we need them jobs. But why are you yelling at me over a burger? So it's one of those type of things. It's like the work life, trying to balance out school, trying to balance out finding housing. It's just overhyped. Like, I really waited my whole life to grow up and do this.
Yeah, so I just wanted to come on here and get some shit off my chest, because for about the past, I don't know, 2 weeks maybe, I've seen a lot of black celebrities and media personalities and so-called journalists make it their business to try to shame and denigrate and shun and insult the intelligence of black men because they don't want to vote for Kamala Harris. They are actively out here villainizing black men for not wanting to vote for Kamala Harris. And I said it before, and I will say it again. They think they own us. They think they own our fucking vote. They want us to believe that we have some sort of obligation to them, that when it's right for them, we should play identity politics and vote for her because she's black. And now they're pushing the narrative that we're dumb, that we're uneducated, we're misinformed, we don't know what the fuck's going on. And the crazy thing about it is, it's the complete opposite. The people who are running away from Kamala Harris are the people who are informing themselves, who are researching, that actually know what the fuck is going on and just not letting themselves be told any goddamn thing. That's the reality of the situation.
I couldn't say that last part any better myself. Time and time again, I get the same arguments all the damn time from the Harrison fans, from Democrats in general. Kenny, why are you voting for Republicans? Hey, Kenny, how can you be a conservative when you're black? I say, okay, does it benefit me to have a good economy? Yes. Does it benefit me that my government looks out for my interests and not the interests of foreign people who are trying to come into this country for economic reasons? Yes. So why would I not vote Republican? Make it make sense. And you see it actively. People are just like, we tired of it. And it is reality. The reality is the most educated black people in our community are not supporting Kamala Harris. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm just saying. I don't care if you're independent. I don't care if you're a conservative. I don't care if you're a conservative Democrat. Anyone who thinks on policy knows that Kamala Harris is not going to be good for this country. And finally, she has unveiled her policy. Phenomenomics. These people and these names. I don't understand, but I digress. Kamala is blasted for unveiling a Soviet-style price controls to stop inflation. Now, one of the things, I made a video, it's my trailer video for this channel. One of the reasons that made me a conservative is the idea of intentions versus results. Shout out to Thomas Sowell. The intention is, oh, prices are too high, we'll make the government force its prices to go down. Kenny, how is that a bad idea? Why shouldn't the government maintain prices and control prices so greedy corporations don't keep increasing prices that we can't afford? And the problem is that, what about the business owner? What about the person who has a business and they buy something at a certain cost? There's no price controls for businesses. And if there is, it's going to affect the suppliers. The thing about capitalists, and that's one thing that socialists don't seem to understand, and this is why I attack Kamala Harris for never having a private sector job. You understand, we all understand when you work in the private sector, that there needs to be money generated to justify your employer to pay you. You need to make more money for your employer than you are taking from them. So that way it's a win-win situation. The minute you are not profitable for your employer, the employer can do in his best interest and fire you or lay you off. And in the employee side, if you find a job opportunity that's paying you more for the skills that you have, you no longer find it beneficial to be with that employer, you leave. Now, here's where the price control starts falling on its face. It's because anyone who's ever experienced socialism understands the terrible idea that is price control. And this is why I say that the Democrats, they rely on the monopoly on the educated vote, on the uneducated voter. Government imposed price control is a terrible idea because it makes the economy worse by causing shortages. This has been tried throughout all history. Price control has a long history. This is why they don't let you study history, right? They like to make you focus on like very footnotes of history. Like everyone who survives socialism, communism knows this. If the shelves are empty, it doesn't matter how low the government claims the prices of bread is. And this is why I say Kamala Harris's economic policies will make things worse. It will. No one can like I don't understand. This is why they get you focused on some emotional substantive stuff, right? That has no bearing on the reality of what's going to affect you and your pocket. Kamala, high prices are because of greed. Wait, there's no greed under Trump? Kamala, there were, but they're greedier now. Why? Kamala, shut up, price controls. Wait, hasn't that failed literally everywhere? This is why Kamala will take zero questions. This is nothing new. Price control's been tried already. And we have a good track record that this policy does not do what you say it does. Let's take a look.
Rates had doubled. And since Los Angeles is not a small village or something, you wonder why does that happen? Now, at about the same time, many other people were upset because Massachusetts had the highest auto insurance premiums in the country. The political answer was not to say, why are these premiums so high? What fact are they conveying? But it was to control the premiums. In fact, they launched an investigation of the insurance industry, the net result of which was they discovered that insurance companies were losing money in Massachusetts, charging the highest auto insurance premiums in the country. Now, anyone who's ever seen Massachusetts drivers will know that there's no mystery as to why those premiums are so high.
Sorry, I muted myself. So that's an important point. Remember, he's making this point in 1993, right? This is why I said, like, if you do, when people just like to label people as ignorant without any like specific example, you make yourself look bad, right? And that's something I get a lot in my comment sections, especially when people can't argue or debate properly what I'm saying, right? They know they feel like this is what happens. I think this is what happens. They feel what I say is wrong, but they can't articulate themselves, so they rather label you something. Oh, Kenny, you're spewing mega talking points because I'm referencing Trump in a video. Wow. Like Trump can't be right about something. I can't agree with Trump on something. Oh, you're spewing mega talking points. Oh, Kenny, you're ignorant. You're ignorant. That is not the case here. Okay, give me an example of what is the case. Instead, you rather criticize what I'm saying. You rather criticize my talking points, but you got nothing to reference, nothing. You ain't pointing me anywhere. I say Kamala Harris don't got no policies. You come in my conversation and say she does have policies. It's just if you were doing your research, you'll find it. Why is it so? Whose policies is easier to find? Donald Trump's or Kamala Harris's? Donald Trump's. Okay, so if I'm making the argument that, hey, ignorant voters, most of them vote Democrat, and they voting mostly for Kamala Harris, and you get mad about that point I make, whose fault that is? That's Kamala's fault. Because she's not making it easier for her least informed voters to be armed with information to advocate for her on her behalf. And now she finally revealed a policy position about how she's going to help the American people with inflation. And it's a time-tested idea that has failed time and time and time again. All you got to do is look at the clip. 1993. Oh, why are prices so high? It's not because of greedy corporations. It's because the corporations have to turn a profit. And sometimes they have to make even. And sometimes the high prices are only making them break even. Imagine that. So if you force them to lower prices, you're telling them, hey, you have to lose money for the convenience of the consumer. That's a one-sided relationship. Imagine being in a relationship with someone where they only benefit from the relationship and you get nothing out of the relationship. You will leave that relationship. So when employers decide, okay, we're going to take our company out of this country, we're going to shut down the business, and then you lose out on their services, you're going to get mad at the greedy corporations when it's the government causing the problem in the first place. This is what conservatives complain about. This is the other side of price control. And an informed voter will be like, this is what I do. I find a pro price control side and a against price control side. I look at the information, then I go through my own personal experience. Okay, and I try to play it out. Okay, who has more validity here? Who's most likely to be right? And that's how I pick my positions. But that's not what most people do. Most people only get one side of the issue, and then when they hear the other side trying to make an argument against it, they're gonna listen to that same side, label, oh, they're misinformed. Oh no, they're ignorant. Oh no, they're just spewing Republican talking points. You see why I hate people when they label people something? Labels are used by the left to discourage people from looking at the other side, from looking at the counter argument. And this is the biggest problem in our politics today, if you were to ask me personally. But I digress.
The only place where you can regularly see drivers changing lanes in the tunnel during the rush hour is in the Callahan Tunnel in Boston. When I taught at Brandeis, I can recall driving to work on the right-hand side of the street and being surprised to see a tractor trailer pass me on the right on the shoulder of the road. The only place where I've seen emergency vehicles with their sirens on having to jam on the brakes because someone did a left turn in front of them is in Massachusetts. But of course, people didn't want to hear what the prices were telling them, and so the answer was to control the prices themselves. There have been many other areas in which there have been price controls. They have a standard, really stereotypical pattern. One is that you reduce the supply of whatever is being controlled. Not surprising, since people do less when they're paid less. The other is that you reduce the quality of what's being controlled, because higher quality is costlier than lower quality. And when you control...
Facts so far? Like I know I feel like I'm going on a tangent here, but I look at the comments and someone like it'll be one thing if my detractors like they gave me something substance. Hey, Kenny, I don't see it the same way you do. Here's why I see it. I can respect that. But when you blatantly just call me ignorant because of my color of my skin, oh, I'm a black man, you expect me to be stupid? Like what? Oh, you think only ignorant people vote for Republicans? Are you stupid? Are you dumb? But this is the attitude of a lot of these commenters, especially these commenters who identified them as so-called black women. Oh, black men, y'all falling into the mega cult. I'm not falling into no cult. I'm voting for a policy, Agenda 47. I don't care about Trump's personality. That's the problem. You do. This is the problem. This is why I say emotionalism is destroying politics. Because if you take your emotions out of it, everything this man say is logically true. Damn, your feelings be damned. The fact is, hey, if you want good services cost money. Good products cost money. And if you have the government come in and force them to lower their prices, guess what you're not going to get? Good service. Guess what you're not going to get? A good product. And price control is the biggest driver of that. So on top of inflation, which Kamala was a part of, she's going to cause service shortage, product shortages. You're going to get less quality products. Bruh, it's going to be a slum. We're going to be in a slum country. This is going to be a slum country. Nothing's maintained. No one wants to work. And you wonder why they say socialism is for the lazy, for the entitled. I digress.
When you force the prices down, people then reduce the quality of what they're producing. One of the classic examples is housing. Wherever rent control has been put in, there is a shortage of apartments. In many places, there's a provision in the law that says this is only a temporary measure until the housing shortage is over. And sometimes they define that in terms of some percentage of vacancy and so on. And what they don't understand is that as long as that law is on the books, there will always be a shortage, and there will never be a time to take the law off the books.
This is a quote I always say, because I think the perspective that I bring into politics is I come from a science background, and in science you use empirical evidence. Okay, what empirical evidence does this policy position have of working? Oh, I have all these previous attempts at this policy, and all of it turned out bad. So why would I assume without any kind of explanation? What is so different about your price control compared to all the previous price controls that's ever been tried in human history? Go, Kamala Harris. Sorry, I don't take questions. Because if you were more informed about the realities of political ideology, political ideas, civic government, the limitations the government have, what the government can actually do and what the government can't actually do, it'll be a lot harder for politicians like Kamala Harris to make it in politics. They'll actually have to be smart. They actually have to be informed. I think this is the first time in human history that many American voters are more informed than the politician that's running. Make it make sense. But you mad I'm against Kamala Harris because of the color of my skin. And then the Democrats have the goal to tell me that Republican parties are the racist party. I digress.
In Paris, they put a law like this on the books as an emergency measure during World War I. It was still in force when World War II broke out. In Sweden, they put one in the early days of World War II. Decades later, it was still there. Finally, for some reason, it occurred to someone to take off the price controls. Instantly, there was a housing surplus. The housing projects put up by the Swedish government suddenly began to have high vacancy rates, and in fact had to be bailed out because they couldn't fill them. I thought about rent control a few years ago when I visited West Berlin. It was still a difference in those days. And I could see this marvelous new modern city. And I came back and visited some of my relatives in the Bronx. And as I drove into the Bronx and I saw all these hulks of abandoned and boarded up buildings, I thought, suppose someone from Mars had come down here and you said to him, which of these two cities was bombed during World War II? He would pick the Bronx. Because
what a point, right? What a point. Like, price controls do not work. Price controls is not a good policy. Any informed voter can tell you that. Anyone who studied these policies, this is when Ricky Smiley say do research, he's like, listen to talking points that you like. Look at the policies that sounds more desirable to you. When a conservative like me tell you do research, I'm telling you, look how feasible all these policies are, and choose the candidate that puts out policies that are more feasible than the other candidate. And it's so crazy that it seems like in this day and age, because of algorithms, because of these bubbles that liberal media create around people, certain people, it's hard for them to get information that goes contrary to what they believe. As a conservative, I'm always exposed to contrarian opinions. So I mostly know all the arguments Democrats will tell me, but Democrats won't know all the arguments I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna pull up some stuff. Hey, price control has been tried in the past. Democrats can go, what? It has? Because they think, because of liberal media, oh, because of Kamala Harris, oh my God, it's a groundbreaking idea. Like Donald Trump's tax on tips. No tax on tips. They're going to think it's groundbreaking. Oh, this is new. No one's ever ran on price controls before. Then I come out, oh yeah, it's been tried before in history. Just look at Rome did it, this person did it, France did it during World War I, World War II. They're going to be like, what? They did? No, you're lying. You're making it up. The stuff I deal with, right? But I digress. Let me know your thoughts about Kamala Harris's price controls. Do you agree with me? Do you think it will work? Don't work? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.